morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here at Earth and Sky, and those of you joining us online, we really appreciate having you join us on these Sunday mornings. We also appreciate any feedback that you like to give us, whether you message us privately or comment on the page. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button on YouTube and hit the like button on our Facebook page. If you enjoy this video, please share it out with your friends and family as well. And we have a couple announcements. We are coming up to the pink moon today. It's a beautiful full moon today. But before I get into all of that, May 14th, I'm starting the Reiki Shoden class, which is level 1. It will be Usui Holy Fire 2, Reiki 1. On Monday nights, that will be for 3 weeks starting on May 14th. I'm also teaching a Saturday class, same class, Usui Holy Fire 2, Reiki, level 1, starting May 26th. So if you're interested in joining us in either of those classes, I would love to have you. The Saturday class will be at Right Natural Health, which is on Linden Road in Flint, and the Monday evening class will be here. So if you would like more information on either of those, just go ahead and let us know. And we may hopefully be getting somebody to do aura photography again too. So if you're interested in that, that would be great. Whether you're taking the Reiki class and you want before and after pictures, or if you are just curious about what your aura looks like, come on down and join us. I'll be posting those details as soon as we get everything confirmed for that. And with that, I'll go right on into the pink moon. So this year we've been talking a lot about the moon cycles. We are actually spending 22 weeks talking about the moon this year. It's a pretty heavy part of our life talks this year because we're talking about each of the 8 phases, so 1 week on each of those, and each of the moons. And we have a couple blue moons this year and a couple months with no moons this year. Throughout all of that, we're getting a pretty good full coverage of the moons. Last year we talked about all of the holidays of the year, and this moon specifically ties in with a few extra holidays outside of our normal realm of holidays. So the pink moon also has a few other names. Sometimes it's known as the full sprouting grass moon, which you can imagine why it's called the full sprouting grass moon. It's one of the most descriptive names I've heard for the moons. And the pink moon actually represents the sprouting of the flowers and the sprouting of the plants. Being that we've just gone through this cold, dark winter, it's really refreshing to be able to see those little sprouts starting to come out. Sometimes we get those little pink flowers or little blue flowers peeking up, so that's why the Native Americans started to coin this as the pink moon. It's also known as the egg moon in some areas and the fish moon in other areas, depending on which area of the world you're in. In the southern hemisphere, the Maori people actually celebrate, in New Zealand, they celebrate the April moon as the key time to prepare for fall. So they talk about it being the time to stack the hay and starting to protect their crops and their plantations with bales of hay and getting all of those winter preparations underway. So we can be thankful right now we're in the northern hemisphere because we've just come through that whole long phase of winter. But it's interesting when you look at it because there's always balance. Whether you're looking really close in at the macro level or the micro level, or you're looking at the macro level of something, you can always find balance in all things. So where on the southern part of the world, our friends are celebrating fall and getting ready. They're doing all of their canning and their preparation, getting ready to go into winter. We finally have come through that, and we're seeing these bursts of pink and flowers and green and things sprouting, and we're ready to come out of that winter slumber that we've been in for so long, and it's time to really get outside. A lot of people are starting to get out and do the gardening now and getting into the dirt and digging and being one with nature. And some of those of you who've been really missing the forest might be out starting to do your first walks through the forest in the spring, and just being able to hear the birds chirping and seeing all of this beautiful signs of life that are sprouting around us. It's really like a new beginning. It's like we've come through this time of planting. If you're following the wheel of the year. We've come through the time where we went inside and we planned and we made preparations and we started planting the seeds, and now we're able to see those very first hints of the seeds starting to come up. It's still a good time to plant a lot of those seeds too. As you're planting, you're seeing other things starting to sprout up. Just as in your life, you start preparing for things and you see certain aspects come underway and you make more preparations, and then you can get a little bit more excited because you're seeing the results coming up, and it really motivates you to get out and to go do it. And so this is a really great time of year for that. Usually the pink moon is the moon that determines Easter, but this year was a little bit special because we had that blue moon at the end of March. Usually it's whatever, well, it's always is whatever the first full moon is after the spring equinox is what determines Easter. So it's kind of fun that we had that blue moon this year. So we had, you could put whatever your intention was into that last full moon and whatever your intention was into the Easter that followed, because whatever the full moon is, whatever that energy is that resonates, that energy is going to infuse and radiate into whatever you plan throughout that month. As we reach the full moon, this is the time where we're really seeing everything manifest that we've been working on. It's a good time because if you think of it as the moon illuminating over our life, it shines a light on whatever it is we're doing, and it lights it up so we can examine what's in our lives and we can examine what we have to be grateful for. And the Theravada Buddhists actually use the April full moon to mark their new year. The Theravada Buddhists celebrate predominantly in Thailand, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka. And so really throughout the world there are a lot of different New Years that seem to go on. We have in America, we see January 1st, and a lot of the world recognizes, because that's the calendar year, as one start to the new year. We've talked about, as we celebrate the Wheel of the Year, how Samhain, which is October 31st, is really the new year. That's the new year that I tend to celebrate, because it's that time where we've made it through the whole year and we've had our planning and we've planted our seeds and we've seen everything sprout up and we've harvested it. And so then you feel that gratitude and you see what you did through the year, and then you're just before you're ready to go back under to start planning. That's a great time to plan the year, because what do people do with the new year? They plan their goals and they figure out what it is that you want, because when you name what you want, you can claim what you want. You have to know what it is you want in order to create it within your life. So it's a good time to do that at the new year, whether you do that January 31st or October 31st, or in April with the full moon, like the Theravada monks do. And the Chinese celebrate New Year in February. So it seems like we have all these different markers throughout the whole year where we can figure out, if you feel like you need a new start in life, if you feel like you're not really motivated right now, if you feel like you're just being challenged and you just feel like maybe you're in a little bit of a rut, or you need something to motivate you and pick you up and get you going again, see this as a great time of a new year. There's nothing stopping you from making this the moment, this the present moment, that you decide to get up and start doing what your passion is in life and figuring it out, planning it. Always the first step of that is planning, going in, naming it, planning it, thinking about it, and then taking those action steps, getting out, planting those seeds and figuring out what it is and actually doing it. Because it's one thing to know what you want and to claim it, but then you also have to take those action steps and plant those seeds and then start seeing the results. You have to start noticing what it is that you're creating in life and feeling gratitude, even as the littlest signs start to come in. Feeling gratitude for that, because when you acknowledge those little things, you're going to see so much more come to you. It's almost as though the universe sometimes has a way of wanting to make sure that you recognize what you have and wanting to make sure you're going to see the blessings that come into your life so that you can have the full flood of them coming in. And part of that might just be training your brain as well. When you start to recognize those little things and you start to see what you've created and you take a step back and you think, wow, I created this, I have this. no matter how little it is or how big it is, the more you start doing that, your brain is going to start getting trained in a way that it can recognize that and create it more. Whatever we focus on is what we create. So if you see this as another time to start the new year, if you didn't have just the right start that you wanted in January, or you've slipped off and you forgot what you were focusing on in January, this is a great time to get back on the wagon and start it up again. Just tune in with that energy of the Theravada monks that see spring as the time. And truly it makes sense as well to have spring be a new start to the year too, because everything is blooming. Everything is starting to come up. The doldrums of the winter, that harshness of the winter can slide off your back, and you can see yourself as sprouting up new as well. And so when you start to just focus in on letting that energy rise within you, it naturally gives you a fresh start as well. You can bloom and grow up just like the flowers that you're seeing spring up around your house and around your neighborhood. This moon is also in Scorpio. So with Scorpio, the magic for this moon would really be about rebirth, transformation, clearing out anything that has been kind of haunting in the shadows. Scorpio has us look at the shadows in our life. It has us transform. It has us look at death. It has us examine those aspects that sometimes we might not want to look at. And with the full moon, and as well with Scorpio, the full moon is illuminating. It's shining this beautiful light on those shadows so they're not scary anymore. So you can see them, so you can know every aspect of who you are, knowing that you don't judge who you are, don't feel bad about who you are, don't criticize it. Instead, allow that full moon's light to illuminate it, look into those shadows, and love every aspect of who you are. If there are some shadows that you're not happy with, then change those. Recognize that this is the time to let go of those. This is the time to let go of those old thought patterns. This is the time to let go of, to release whatever it is in your life that you don't want to have in your life anymore. You have the power to do whatever it is that you want with your life. And this moon is really a beautiful key to help you let it go, because you have Scorpio who's ready to clear in, sting, burn off, eliminate, release, let go of whatever it is, and the full moon's light to shine and illuminate and act as your friend, the goddess in the sky, who can act and illuminate and let you know that you have the comfort of her around you. You have the moon lighting your path. You have that love, you have that full light within you. So tap into the light of that magic and figure out what it is you want to release, what it is you want to let go of. And use the extra energy of the full moon too. The energy of the full moon, it just brings a lot of energy in. So if there's some cobwebs you want to clear out, if you feel like it's time to finally look at some of those shadows that are in your life that you've tried to avoid, hold that mirror up. Allow the moonlight to shine in through the mirror, shine in on you, so you can look in at those shadows, so you can clear them, knowing that there is nothing in your life that you should ever be afraid of. There is nothing in your life that you should judge or be critical of or be harsh about. Instead, just let that light shine in. Let the love of the moon guide you and fill you so that you know that you can transform yourself into whatever it is you want to transform yourself into. A couple different meditations that you can do with this. If you want to use the full moon's magic with the mirror, you can go outside tonight. The moon is supposed to be at its fullest at 8:58 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you want to take a mirror out and find a place where the moonlight can reflect into the mirror. So as you're looking at the mirror and you see the moon's light reflecting into it and it shines on you, see and envision within yourself that that moon's light is reflecting and illuminating you, and seeing yourself as though you're glowing with the full, brilliant white light of the moon, and you see her beauty and then her fullness, and allow yourself to see your beauty and the fullness of the beauty and the fullness of the life that's within you as well. And then as she's shining in, once you see that, once you feel that true love for yourself, then ask to see the shadows within yourself. Ask to see within yourself. Examine what you might want to release. Look at those doors that may have been closed. Look at those walls that you may have built, and examine the shadows within yourself so that you can release them. Maybe it's something from a long time ago, like childhood, that you need to release. Maybe it's something current that's happening in your life. Maybe there are certain traits that you see in other people that drive you nuts. And when you look in this mirror with the light shining on you from the full moon, you might recognize some of those traits are within yourself, and maybe it's time to clear that out within yourself. And as you clear it out, figure out what you're going to replace it with too. Anytime you release something, you create space so you can fill it with what you want. You can consciously choose, and that's one of the big steps of consciously creating your life. Consciously choosing, consciously releasing, so that you can then fill whatever it is you want into your life. The other thing that you can do is more of a meditation. So if you want to go into a meditation and you envision yourself as though you're seeing whatever it is you want to release in your life, whether it's habits or thought patterns or things or people or traits, whatever it is, visualize yourself as though you're a caterpillar. And you begin to see yourself crawling along the earth. And you see yourself noticing a big, beautiful tree above you. And you take, with your little caterpillar legs, and you start crawling up the bark of the tree. And really visualize it. Notice how the bark feels as you crawl up the tree in your mind. And then see yourself crawling out to one of the branches. And noticing that as you look down, it looks like it's a long way down from that branch. Yet you don't feel afraid. You feel safe and secure knowing that you're holding yourself up there. And then visualize yourself beginning to spin a cocoon around yourself, and you're cocooning in whatever it is that you want to release. Because before you release something, sometimes it helps to embrace it. Sometimes it helps to feel it and to acknowledge that this has been part of your life. This has been part of who you are. They might be traits that you don't like, but they might have served you well at certain points in your life. You might have created those traits, whether it was that you were just had somebody that role modeled them to you, or maybe it was a protection method that you started to create those traits, and it's time to release them now. And so visualize those and see yourself spinning that web around yourself, spinning that cocoon around yourself. And then once you're in the meditation and you really see yourself as being completely cocooned in it, then just allow yourself to sit for a space, just for a couple minutes, so that you feel it, so you recognize it, until you're ready to release it. Because you have to truly be ready within yourself, within your own heart, within your own mind, that you want to release those, not just that you think you should release it, but that you want to release whatever it is. And then once you feel that, once you recognize that within yourself, then you're ready to open out of that cocoon. So then within the meditation, see yourself as creating a hole in the bottom of the cocoon. And then as you start to visualize within your mind yourself coming out of the cocoon, and you see yourself emerging as a beautiful butterfly. And notice what those colors of the butterfly are. And you can coordinate those colors if you research it afterwards. Look at what those colors are on the chakra wheel, and that's going to tell you a lot about the healing that took place in that meditation. And so as you're continuing to go through the meditation, see yourself flying, see yourself soaring over the tree. Now it wasn't so much work to climb up the tree and out on the branch. Now you're free. You're free of those traits. You're free of those habits. You're free of whatever is in your shadow side that you want to release, and you can fly over the tops of trees. You can fly throughout your life. You can take control and fly and enjoy everything that you want to have within your life. So this is something you can repeat as often as you want as a meditation, but it's really powerful and really strong right now while the full moon is in Scorpio. So I would definitely encourage you to do it this morning or this evening, whenever you feel like you are ready to meditate. Harness those powers of this full moon and enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed today's life talk about the full pink moon, which is in Scorpio. Thank you for joining us here at Earth and Sky. And again, if you're interested in taking the Reiki classes, go ahead and let us know. That's the 3 Mondays starting May 14th. and 3 Saturdays starting May 26th. You can choose either class. It's either just the Mondays or just the Saturdays, same class both nights. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.